Hi, I would like to start my conference with a small story. There was this architect in the heart of a vibrant city. She was named Sophia. She was about to embark on what was poised to be the crowning achievement of her career. Tasked with creating a towering high rise complex, she envisioned a modern marvel that would weave together living spaces, offices, shops into a seamless urban tapestry. The project was not just a building, it was to be a beacon of innovation and design powers. You can see the crown jewel going up there. But beneath the shimmering facade of architectural dreams, there was a storm that was brewing. Driven by the rush and excitement and the pressure of deadlines, crucial steps were glossed over. Financial forecasts were painted in rosy hues by eager financiers detached from the greedy realities of urban planning and environmental mandates. These happy numbers failed to resonate with the complex symphony of regulation that governs city development. And under pressure, without the right tools, she proceeded without the crucial 3D volumeter checks. She was in a rush to break ground. And as she broke ground, there were discrepancies between the initial designs and the regulatory and the financial planning. There were as well violations of zoning laws and environmental impacts that had been overlooking. This started to draw ire of city planners and local communities. Sadly, this project, once a beacon of hope and engineering marveling, soon became a lesson in hubris, which is for all at it. Her dream crumbled under the weight of legal and financial burdens. Construction ground to a halt, and Sophia's reputation hung in the balance. A stark reminder of what happens when ambition outpaces prudence and when we can't uh, do a compliance with regulatory frameworks. And this is where the dreams check with reality or dissonate. We should ask what could have been done right. She could have done a lot of things. Its integration of 3D volumetry checks, use of BIM tools for compliance, regulatory and financial reviews, a lot of things as well. She could have done a risk assessment, or she could use some initial early stakeholder collaboration sessions, or the use of design options in financial compliance. And this is what I'm going to talk about. I'm Cesar Seed. I'm a BIM consultant, SPATIC, and I will talk about this part, the importance of compliance in vertical mixed use. For example, here in Mexico, we have a case. We have a lot of vertical development going on, but there are reasons for failure. There are insufficient market studies. We don't have, sometimes we have unexpected regulatory challenges or zoning restrictions, overestimated financial returns, and underestimated construction costs. Delays due to construction challenges, especially in areas with seismic activity or unstable foundations, such as Mexico City. Such of things happen. There are many developments are already halted in Mexico City right now. Here in Mexico, we have some numbers. The failure rate of vertical developments in Mexico is reported around 30 35%, and frequently it happens during the early stages, often due to financial finance mismanagement, some regulatory issues, or inadequate market research. We also have some inadequate compliance with zoning laws and unexpected costs that contribute to delays and cancellations. And to match it to a global perspective, we have a failure rate around the middle because worldwide is around 25 to 40%, depending on the region. And the common factors for failure are the same. Poor financial planning, unforeseen regulatory challenges, and misalignment with market demand. And this is a very important cause for financial stress and failure in our developments. And we can use some tools to ensure compliance to financial and regulatory frameworks from an early stages. For example, I'm going to show you an ArchiCAD design options tool workflow for this purpose. Why ArchiCAD? Why design options tool? Because we can do quick massing iterations. We can do it really quickly. We can do contextual analysis based on different scenarios for our environments, light and shadow studies, automated calculations of areas and zone type, zone use, zoning checks as well. We can do this with tool. This can ensure that we are compliant with the regulations in real time, visual communications, and data integration with GIS. And let's create a compliant workflow. For step one, the regulatory. For example, this scenario, I took a random lot, Mexico City, one popular neighborhood, and with that, I can see the original zoning requirements. Here we have all the lots, these lots, they allow us to know what are the uses that we can build that. The coefficients, the level, maximum heights, and the housing, even the housing densities. We have here a post increase, which I think it's really good and it's necessary for successful development. This is a hypothetical case, but we will go on this case for the purpose of showing a workflow. For example, we added more levels, we added more density to the land lot, and it's around 2,000 square meters. And I think it's a good development with 83 units. And the step two is the financials. The financials are a really important source because sometimes architects design out of the dark. So going with financials can provide a good feedback. For example, here we have the residential. This example, we put about 5 different apartment types. Here you can see the happy numbers, the apartments, square meters, sales price, cap rates, estimated rents, all the finances that make this thing is profitable based on the market analysis and the financial study. And this develops to the second step, which is the inventory. And we see we want this quantity with this target inventory. We want how much of these units. And a very important thing here is that we can know exactly how much parking space do we need and what percentage each unit contributes to the total. Here we have 88 parking spaces, which is a lot for Mexico City. And the mix objective, this is our ideal mix. Let's see if it fits in the terrain. All right, through a massing study. And finally, we have a program review, how many units, which kind, each one, different building area, and all the regulatory. For example, here we have 71 inventory units. We are a little bit below the average. I don't think it's really updated right now, but we can see a lot of it can give us head ups like the total building mass that we are aiming for. And the step 3 is the massing, which is the workflow in action, basically. And now I want to show you. Here we have our land lot, which is pretty big, 2,000 square meters, but it's a little bit tight for Mexico City. So we can take advantage of Archic tool by seeing the environment. We can see a lot of things here. We modeled the streets and we put the lot dimensions and the lot topography back in a worksheet. And this allows us to create our lot through a mesh tool. And this will allow as well, the tool allows us to load some information. We can load some of the financial information either in project info or either in classifications and properties. And that info can be used later to develop schedules and other tools that can give us numbers, because we need numbers to provide feedback to the financials. All right. And this is all done through a simple tool, a simple Archic tool, which is the zone tool. Zoning, we can do a lot of massing through zone tool because it allows us to have a volumetry. And part of it is that we can do, for example, I save some favorites, commercial, miscellaneous, elevators, amenities, and we can draw pretty easily through volumes, through squares, simple forms. And the Good part here is the classifications and properties, custom classifications and properties, which allow us to input some data in. And by inputting some of that data, we can as well get properties. For example, here I have use category. I can have a lot of use categories for each project, but I can have as well, the model, the corresponding model for each category. For example, in a circulation, you don't have a model because it's just vertical circulation, either an elevator or staircase. But you can see, for example, here I'm going to select another one. We can even do parking circulations, but we have the residential as well. And I have now, it's a residential A, 1 bedroom, and it has this use category, residential, and 1 assigned parking space. This will allow us to, through massing, know how many parking spaces do we need. And that's a pretty intense subject in Mexico City, because we don't have parking minimums anymore in Mexico City. But I can know how many parking space do I need, for example, for this massing model. I know if it's profitable. I can see my parking space right down, and I can see the second combination. This assign option tool can allow me for a lot of combinations here. I will put in the context a little bit, and you can see that we have 2 different mixes. Now I will have time to make. I will delete that one, which was like a rough zone, but I can do like a spatial analysis, context analysis pretty easily, know how it fits on my urban tapestry, my urban context. And I can see this as well in the ground floor, in the floor plans. I can do these schemes, these zoning plans really quick. For example, I can have these details, what kind of store am I doing. And this is one really big one, which is the parking spaces, parking spaces, to know which option for parking spaces is really better. For example, I have here option 1, option 2, which is we were using some car elevators, no? And we can have a lot of options, design options. We can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 combinations, different combinations. But I can see, for example, I did here, this is all, it's a mock-up project, but we can see a little bit of analysis here. For example, the penthouses are drawn to the corner because they are the most valuable, most expensive apartments. We can see all the good apartments, the most expensive ones, they go to the street. And this one, it goes more like to the back. The less expensive apartments. You can do this sort of analysis pretty easily with the tool. For example, here I have the anchor stores, retails, and I have 2 mixes right now. And what's the use of all of this is data. All of I want out of this is data. For example, that's all areas by category. But I can have massing areas. For example, residential, I have this model. How much calculated area, how much of each apartment, and how much of assigned spaces. For example, 25 assigned spaces, 10 assigned spaces to the 1 bedroom extended, which is a little bit bigger prototype. But as well, I can have other prototypes that might demand 2 parking spaces. So I can see I have 85 parking spaces right now from the massing I did. So this can allow a good feedback, all these combinations. I can switch the combination right now, and I will have a different massing output. For example, this is more building mass in residential terms. It's like 1,000 square meters more than the previous option. And I can do a lot of these for commercial offices. And all of these schedules can be saved as views specific. And I will do that process in a little while. But it's pretty easy to switch between one massing to the other. For example, I will see the office massing areas, no, commercial. Let's go to commercial. And for example, I have here the anchor stores, the retail singles, doubles, and how much parking spaces do I need for commercial area. And this feedback can go back, to see if doing parking there, it's even profitable in a city as dense as Mexico City. But right now, I want to show you that I can type a new folder here, and I can save a schedule for each scenario. And that's a flexibility that we have with, design options tool from Archic, that I can say, for example, I'm going to save another. I will put its layer combination accordingly. I can choose between the combinations that I have right now. I have 2 combinations of massing. It was really quick massing just to showcase. And I will put C1 for commercial for the combination 1, and I will create a new view, but I will switch to combination 2. And through this, I will be able to see it's not 1,000, it's more like 400,000 square meters, 400 square meters above the other one. So this data, it will allow me to see as well all areas by category, which is, I think it's one of the best schedules we can get, because I know how much amenity, circulations, commercial we have. Circulations, because I know how much efficiency do I have in my development. How much am I wasting in circulation of parking spaces? It's pretty interesting, the data. This is the basic data that you can get out of model, because we can load a lot of properties. I'm going to save that as C2, and I will see a different whole data. It's more building mass. It's 1,000. I still have to take out the parking spaces maybe, because they count as well. But that can give me more visibility to see more financial decisions. And this is the output. I can output them right out to Excel. So I have my financial program in Excel, and I can feed it data right outside my model. And this is just the tip of the iceberg of what we can do, and we are development. So what's the data management and utilization? What can we do with this data? Basically, we can export this to Excel to feedback our financial and regulatory program sheets. And we can do that in Archic via properties and expressions through further programming. I don't have so much time to show you, but this can be done. And this data is easily updated, we can export this data really quick with the publisher after every modification we made to the massing model. So if we want to do further compliance checking, we can do that. Archic has an integrated model checker, but we can, if we are talking to some other stakeholders, we can do Solibri. We can do some Solibri checking. You can even check some regulatory restrictions in Solibri really easy, and the model can be exported via IFC. Different softwares. You want to do a wind study, a fire study, a safety, urban planning, solar studies for shadows, some compliance with some historic sites. You can do it pretty quickly and in a really quick fashion. Our conclusions. We can learn some few lessons out of this quick case. For example, these Archic design options and these IFC models can streamline our design processes and ensure projects are flexible and compliant with regulations, unlike poor Sophia, which had a really rough time. And we can have an improved collaboration and communication via IFC models, the OpenBeam standard. We can do that communication among all stakeholders. And resource optimization. Here we want to have the best resource optimization we can. So that's all my topic. I hope it's good for you. You can learn something from it. You have my email there and my email. Thanks.